Alright, hello everybody, good evening. So today is Thursday the 29th of November 2012, so we are now reviewing the latest episode. Finally it came back after a week away last week, obviously being Thanksgiving, so we are back with Arrow. And so yesterday's episode was titled Muse of Fire. We were introduced to Helena Bertinelli, more on her later. China White has returned as well, briefly mind. We also we find out who John Barrowman is really playing. His character, the well-dressed man, is eventually revealed. Tommy Merlin has all his money cut off from him by his father, which was very interesting. Well, at the same time, it's all about, as I say, this episode is to do mainly with Helena Bertinelli, her father Frank, who's CEO, or he's pretty much Bertinelli Construction Industries, and that's the business that he owns. She's been going around picking off members of his mob one by one. One of them happened to be having a business meeting with Moira, Oliver's mother, and unfortunately she was present when this person got shot. So Oliver wasn't happy about it, chased the person down, who turned out to be Helena, even though at the beginning he thought it was a bloke. So chased her down, and well, it all pretty much goes from there. Now, one thing I will note, that I've noted even from quite a number of people, is that regarding Arrow, now people are describing it as a soap opera TV show. That's fine. I don't see that. I don't see the soap opera element whatsoever. If you see that, that's entirely up to you. And if you feel that that's the reason that you don't really enjoy the show, well, look at it on the other side. Look at it on the flip side. Look at it for what it really is about. It's about character developments. We are seeing these characters pretty much in their birth. This is an origin as such, okay? So when characters like Helena Bertinelli arrives, she's not going to be armed with a crossbow straight away. She's not going to be wearing her mask and her costume full on, okay? We had Deathstroke, we've had Deadshot, we've had the Royal Flush Gang. So all of these characters, they're starting, this is why the CW, well, Kreisberg, Guggenheim and Berlanti are doing this show, because it's starting afresh. Yes, Oliver Queen is dressed as Green Arrow, but he isn't called Green Arrow as yet. People are still referring to him as the Hood, because you've got to understand that when you start off a character, you're not going to really give him the name at the beginning of his involvement, or his in his first outing. Yes, you could probably say, oh look, he's wearing a green hood and he shoots arrows from a bow. So yeah, someone eventually might come up with Green Arrow, but as yet that is not the case. So just try to remember that regarding the likes of Merlin and Laurel, Thea, who still, I think the writers are either being very lazy with her development, or they just can't really, they just feel like because she's Oliver's sister, well, she's just going to be Oliver's sister, whining and being an absolute bitch, basically. Then again, you've got Moira in there as well, and as I say, there are elements of soap opera-ness that people have described, but at the same time, you put that to one side, you try to focus on the character developments of the characters themselves, the main focal point obviously being Oliver Queen. So anyway, as I say, carrying on, some of the interesting guest stars that were in this show, in this episode, Tamar Pennyket. Those of you who watch Smallville, you will remember that he was in 2 particular episodes during the show's 10-year run. He's also going to be in the new Man of Steel movie next year, so I'll be looking forward to see how that turns out. But he was like Frank Bertinelli's right-hand man in this episode, and well, when he makes a discovery of who's been picking off Bertinelli's people, well, it's very interesting. And another thing I have to say, do you know what? The stunt work, the fight scenes, brilliant. Oliver against Helena, fantastic, and then Oliver and Helena facing off against Frank's right-hand man and his goons, kind of thing. It's fantastic seeing how the fight scenes are just so, well, they're so brilliant. They really are well executed. Diggle again, there's nothing more to add on Diggle because he is just pure awesomeness. We've got Detective Quentin Lance back with his co-worker. I still haven't even remembered who his name is, but anyway. But like I say, the biggest discovery obviously was the revelation of the well-dressed man, who he really is. There were some interesting theories about who he could be. One of them was very far-fetched by a certain person who I know is going to be watching this. Your theory was well out of the window, and this person thought that, for whatever reason, I don't know how, but he thought that John Barrowman was going to be Bruce Wayne. Yeah, that didn't work. So yeah, he's not Bruce Wayne. I honestly actually thought, and this isn't even a spoiler, but I honestly thought he would have been related in some way to Oliver Queen. That was what I thought. I thought he would have somehow had some relation, to Oliver, like an uncle or cousin or something like that. I don't know. That was something that I honestly thought of. But when it was revealed, well, I definitely didn't expect that. That's for sure. A lot of people will probably say, "Oh yeah, we knew who he was in the end. Anyway, we already knew from the beginning," kind of thing. But for me, I quite like the element of surprise, and I was very, very surprised at that. I did read though that the website greenarrowtv.com, they actually were quite spot on with their theory as to who John Barrowman's character actually was. So when I read that after watching the show, I thought, okay, someone already guessed it. But yes, it was pretty accurate. But like I say, I was very, very surprised. In fact, there's a point where in 2 parts in the episode where Moira gets 2 surprise visits, and in one of them, my heart was just racing, because the person that I'll tell you anyway. John Barrowman's character enters her room because she obviously was still recuperating from the shooting. But whilst they were both talking, my heart was, for whatever reason, it was just pumping away. I was thinking, beating so fast, and I'm thinking, is this when we find out who he really is? Is this when we find out who he really is? But we don't. It's not at that section. But when we do find out who he really is, and I was like, okay. Very surprising. So it was very, very, very interesting. But like I say, again, solid episode, very well done. Looking forward to next week's episode, which is when Helena eventually gets her costume on, and hopefully, I think by that point she will have had her crossbow armed and ready as well. Because, as I say, it's all about the development. People have been slightly voicing out in that some of these characters aren't the way that they should be in the comics, apart from probably Deathstroke. But again, like I say, it's all about the development. Okay, we're seeing them in their raw entity, in their raw outing, and their first outing. Helena, for heaven's sake, she's fighting Oliver Queen wearing a motorcycle helmet. So excuse me, it really doesn't. Yeah, there's a lot to change. There is a lot to change. We have seen pictures of Jessica DeHal as Huntress. But again, whether or not she's going to be called Huntress in next week's episode, which is titled Vendetta, it's going to be a whole different thing altogether. But we'll see. We'll see what happens anyway. But that's it from me. Thank you all for watching, and I shall see you all next week. Goodbye.